A controversy has erupted after Prime Minister Modi has attended the Ganpati Puja celebrations at the residence of Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud. This celebration has sparked criticism from the opposition. The opposition has raised doubts about the judicial impartiality in the minds of the people. Hitting back at the opposition, the BJP has said that Prime Minister Modi's visit was strictly restricted to Ganpati Puja celebrations. They have said that the Ganpati Puja is a part of our culture. So why is this a controversy and why the political leaders are politicizing the Ganpati Puja celebrations? That's exactly what we will discuss with some people who understand this space. Dr. Dharinder Dayal, BJP spokesperson, joins us on the show. Advocate Gyanendra Mishra, political analyst, also with us on the broadcast. Mr. Piyush Pant, political analyst, joins us on the program as well. Dr. Dayal, thank you for speaking with us. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can.
All right. So why do you think that the opposition is worried, or rather saying that this is perhaps something which is out of the ordinary when the Prime Minister goes to the Chief Justice's house to attend a mere puja?
Thank you, Vineet. I think what is very critical here is to understand that this is just the tip of the iceberg. We need to look at the iceberg actually. And the iceberg is that there is a concerted deep state toolkit which is in action. And it is hammering at every pillar of our democracy. So look at it in a wider perspective. The government is obviously the government. The government agencies are all sold out. That has been said earlier. The press is the media. The election commission is sold out. Now the judiciary also is compromised. So basically, you are trying to hit at every pillar of this democracy to actually bring down the country that is India. And you're doing this not just here, you're doing this abroad also. It is okay if Mr. Rahul Gandhi in the US is to meet Omar or is to meet Ro Khanna, who is a member of the Pakistan caucus, or clandestine meetings with the Xi Jinping even signing MOUs and clandestine meetings with George Soros and cronies. All that is fine. But for a Ganpati Puja, for the Prime Minister to attend the puja is a no-no, because the judiciary gets compromised so easily in this country. So the basic idea, or I don't know whether the problem is the Ganpati Puja, because earlier there have been any n number of instances when iftar parties were held by Manmohan Singh ji and the CJI used to attend. So there was no problem with that. The problem possibly could be with the Ganpati Puja, because as India Alliance has said, Sanatan is AIDS, and Congress has said we are going to fight the Hindu Shakti. Somewhere is it the anti-Sanatan part of it which is playing up? But at the end of the day, we need to understand that in this country, people don't rise to be the CJI just like that. They don't land from the moon. They're not aliens. They've grown within this society. They were lawyers somewhere. They became judges and so on, and rose to the position of the CJI because the country feels we don't have a better person in our country to do this job, who can separate his personal relations from what he stands for judicially, from his profession. He is the person we can all trust, and when he says something, we take it, yes, that is the final word. That is what it is about. But I mean, is it that people from across the political spectrum don't meet each other? They do. So does that mean they're jumping ship? I mean, this has gone beyond the ridiculous, and to cast aspersions on this CJI. Look at his legacy. You have to understand. And all this was in broad daylight. Like I said, unlike the meeting of Mr. Rahul Gandhi in the US, which was a closed door, this was not a closed door meeting. It was a puja right in front of everybody that he performed and left. So, are you saying that the CJI and his intentions and his integrity gets compromised with this? There is every possibility, and this has been put down, that he invited a large number of dignitaries. We do not know how many were invited, who all are invited, but there is every possibility that a lot of congressmen also must have been invited. Possibly, they may have chosen not to go because it was Ganpati Puja and not Iftar. Just like they didn't go for the Pran Pratishtha, they may not want to go for Ganpati Puja. That is a possibility. But to say that only the Prime Minister was invited and why did he attend, with that the CJI and his integrity gets compromised. I think we need to understand this design of the Congress to nationally, internationally hit at the foundation of this country. But I also have belief that the citizens of this country would not allow that to happen.
All right. Let me also open Mr. Piyush Pant, political analyst, into this conversation. Mr. Pant, what is the harm here? Why can't the Prime Minister, go to the Chief Justice's house and, celebrate a festival? Why does this have to be colluded in some, political offshoot?
Well, Vineet, because Chief Justice Chandrachud is the head of the judiciary and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the head of the government. So they both are heading two different institutions of the democracy, And if the Prime Minister visits the personal function of Chief Justice, it will certainly create some aspersions, because the judiciary also should be, and the Chief Justice should also look to be independent. Had it been a public function, it's fine. They would have met, both would have met. That was fine. But it was a function. It was a devotional function at Chief Justice's house, and Prime Minister visiting that. I think because Prime Minister is not only Mr. Modi, is not Mr. Modi, Narendra Modi. He is also the Prime Minister, he is head of the government. And daily, both the pillars of the democracy, you can say they interact with each other. The decision of the one is challenged before the other branch of the system. So now here, the aspersions can be created and one can doubt about, because the integrity of both the institutions is at stake. Because who knows what conspire between the two. I know it should not be doubted, but the thing is that it should also look as if that justice is not compromised in our country. And if Prime Minister visits Chief Justice's house, certainly many things can be derived from it, and it certainly gives a bad name to the judicial system, and particularly to the Chief Justice of India, who is taken in a high esteem, and he has been known, his statements have been known to favor the independence of the judiciary. So here, it's a very thin line. It's a very thin line, and one must respect. One should not only be independent, but should look like be independent. The institution of the judiciary should look like independent. So I think here what the importance and the controversy lies.
Okay, Advocate Mishra, Advocate Ganesh Mishra. Do you see a problem here? Do you see an issue here? It's the same Chief Justice who's also taken decisions and matters which have been against this government. Then why attribute any kind of a closeness or impropriety into this simple gesture?
So Vinith, it is a very complex issue, and you need to look at it from a very different perspective. See, here it's not at all a question about actual compromise on independence, impartiality, or integrity of judiciary, and more particular Supreme Court and the Chief Justice. It's the question of optics, and then optics leads to certain perception. So it's more of a question of perception, that what perceptions it creates, what image it creates in the mind of the general public about the independence and impartiality of the judiciary. See, the constitution in India itself, puts a mechanism in place which ensures a complete impartiality and independence of judiciary without any influence either by the executive and legislature. And judiciary is supposed to be at arm's length from the legislature as well as the executive. And there is, this perception, optics and perception behind it, that if you mingle too much with the other arms of the governance, if you appears to be too much socializing with the other arms of the government, it may create a perception, general perception in the mind of the people that judiciary is not independent to the extent that it can impartially and with full integrity sits upon the action of the legislature and the executive and protects the general people, general public from any transgression of their rights. Therefore, if there is an optics out in the public that there isn't too much of an socialization, friendship, mingling, with that creates a perception issue, as I said. And therefore, the people will question that why, because see, there's a 2-3 things which we need to keep in mind here. One, that it was not a public function. It was not as if that is an open platform or a public function where the Chief Justice as well as the Prime Minister was invited and they went there and met and exchanged pleasantries, etc., etc. It seems to be, and when you look at the picture also, it seems to be a very private, homely function in the residence of CJI. And then the Prime Minister is there. And so people are first, obviously will question that what was the need of us inviting the executive branch of the governance, and does it then show too much of mingling, too much of socialization, and does it attack at this concept of arm's length? Does it dilute the image of judiciary being completely impartial and not engaged beyond what is necessary?
Advocate Mishra, there are other instances and occasions as well. Advocate Mishra, with the Prime Minister and the CJI do cross paths as well. But we'll get into that just momentarily. Ramakant Gaur, senior lawyer of the Supreme Court, also with us on the program. Mr. Gaur, thank you for speaking with us. Where do you stand on this? Do you think that optics-wise, this is not sending the right message?
Thank you for inviting me. Now, optics. When we talk about optics, let's see the Sanjay Raut's tweet. संविधान के घर को आग लगी घर के चिराग से. ईवीएम को क्लीन चिट. महाराष्ट्र में चल रही संविधान विरोधी सरकार के सुनवाई पर 3 साल से तारीख पे तारीख. पश्चिमी बंगाल बलात्कार मामले में सुओ मोटो हस्तक्षेप. महाराष्ट्र रेप कांड का जिक्र नहीं. दिल्ली मुख्यमंत्री केजरीवाल के बेल पर तारीख पर तारीख. ये सब क्यों हो रहा है? These questions are really showing the optics. These are contemptuous. This is causing contempt of the court. This is not something which my brother has said in very euphemic words, socializing, mingling. No, even those words are contemptuous. But I would say somebody who is saying संविधान के घर को आग लगी. Now, what is संविधान? Article 78 of Constitution of India empowers Prime Minister of India to communicate about the formation of law and decision of the Prime Minister of the legislative councils, Parliament, etc. to the President. They made the law. He heads the institution which is making the law. Chief Justice of India is somebody who protects the law, protects the Constitution. Now you are saying संविधान के घर को आग लगी and you are resorting to something like optics. Is this the language? Is this the language of a parliamentarian who appears to be lawmaker? And this is the same parliamentarian who was granted bail by 122 pages order by one of the session judges in Bombay. by saying ED has done this wrong. The same CBI and ED who have been accused of a limb of the government which is being used, misused, and abused. The same judiciary. Now, this is the Chief Justice of India who says in India Today's conclave that nobody has approached me for taking a particular decision. He is the Chief Justice of India who is available for all the functions, all the forums, and he is somebody who has taken judiciary to a level next.
Correct.
He is the Chief Justice of India. Now let me give you the instances. Who says, Mr. Rohatgi, what is good for goose is good for gander. मैं राजा को भी सुनूंगा, रंग को भी सुनूंगा, but procedurally, there is nobody who can violate. I will give you the same treatment which I'll give the treatment to a newer entrant to the bar. He's the same Chief Justice of India. When EVM issue comes, they say the other side is favored. When electoral bond issue says, see, judiciary has done a great job. Now, since he has mentioned Arvind Kejriwal's case, Arvind Kejriwal was taken into custody in March. Now, 3 rounds of litigation to Supreme Court. See, three times he has approached Supreme Court. Now, in 4 months' time, or 5 to 6 months' time, 3 rounds of litigation. And still they say, Tariq pe Tariq. I mean, this is something actually contemptuous. This is scandalous. This is nothing more than that. Now, this is the country, because we have to follow the rituals and the morals. This is the country. Just give me 1 more minute, I'll complete it. This is the country where Ravan was Purohit of Ram. This is the country when in Dharma Yudh, everybody goes to other camps and intermingle. This is not somebody's private party. This is Ganesh Puja. And in Ganesh Puja, if head of one institution doesn't go to the other, they would say something else. They may say anything. They have problems with anything and everything. But you are maligning the institution, be aware of that. And this maligning of institution is contemptuous. Beware of that. You'll be nailed down.
Okay, all right. Strong points there. Mr. Pant, would you like to respond to that? And then we'll go to Dr. Narendra.
Vineet, I please give me some time to respond to that as well.
Sure, I will. Let's get a response in from Mr. Pant. Mr.
Well,
Pant?
Vineet, no, that's fine. We should not cast aspersions. But I won't agree that and Mr. Advocate, he's quoting the time of Mahabharata or Ramayana when Ravan. This is not that time. This is modern time. This is time when we have the constitutions, and constitutions have clearly created a demarcation line between the 4 pillars of the democracy institutions, and the head of an institution has to be very particular about it, that he has to make a distance, particularly the head of the judiciary. He has to be very particular about it, that no wrong message should go. And here what happened, it was not a social function. It was not a public function. Had it been a public function, it was fine. It was a personal function at the residence of CJI. So that's why the questions are being raised. And whatever you say, I mean, we have lots of regard for CJI, and some of his judgments have been very appreciative, and some of his comments have been very appreciative. But other judgments have also been very controversial. So it is part of the judicial system. But here, as I said earlier, as you say that justice should not only be delivered, it should appear to be delivered. It is the same. The judiciary must be very cautious about it, that it should appear to be independent. So if you mingle with the head of the state, the rules made by whose government are challenged in the courts, So what happens, mingling at the personal level can create anything, can create any impression, and in the longer term, it may result, impressing you by the other personality, or you may be under the pressure to work in his favor or in her favor, or as per the government's will. You don't know, because human persons are very weak. Human persons are very weak when they succumb to such pressures. And when you establish a personal relationship, there are chances of succumbing to such pressures. So judiciary has to be very cautious, and particularly the head of the judiciary has to be very particular to make a distance with the government.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, Dr. Dharinder Tyal, the distance here is important. If it's not maintained, it's going to send out the wrong message. How do you respond to these responses that have come about from largely people who subscribe to what the opposition is also saying today?
Vineet, I think what Mr. Pant has said, with every additional sentence, he has touched new depths of ridiculousness. I'm sorry for using these words, but when he says that because the Prime Minister goes there, who knows, the CJI may be impressed with his personality. Now, does he need to stand in front of the CJI to impress him with his personality? How ridiculous is that? He says he may come to pressures at a Ganpati Puja. What is the kind of pressure that is being exerted on him? I mean, you're touching new depths. This is the beauty of democracy, where all the pillars of the democracy, they intermingle with each other. And then we come to what Mr. Pant said. Too much intermingling. I mean, the actually sentence, when you listen to the sentence of too much intermingling, one is wondering what was going on there. I mean, it is a Ganpati Puja. Too much intermingling, too much socializing, too much friendship. All that happened in one Ganpati Puja. Please understand, this is what is being said here. At the same time, it is being said we hold the CJI in very high esteem. And now, Mr. God, he read out the tweet of Sanjay Rao, which implies all that has not happened after the Ganpati Puja. Which means the high esteem that he holds in, he is saying that some kind of thing is already on. So aspersions on the character of the CJI, irrespective of Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi attending the Ganpati Puja or not, have already been cast. But he was a very good CJI, like he mentioned. He was a very good CJI when electoral bonds were there and BJP was being hauled over coal. He was all fair and everything, which is being said now also. Some of his judgments have been very good, whereas the others have been controversial. So those which favored the Congress were good. The rest, of course, are controversial. So this is, I do not know, like I said, the lawyers, the judges, they are from the same society. They live in the same society. Now, are we going to put the Chief Justice under house arrest? Will he not go for somebody's daughter's wedding? Will he not play golf with somebody? Will he not go out in the market? No, he's not supposed to just let him meet somebody. This is the trust. I mean, just words would not do. When we just say, we hold them in very high esteem, but we don't have faith in you. You might get impressed by somebody's personality because he has visited your house once. So you meet him in person and you get impressed with his personality. The Congress is the kind of person or the kind of party, what it is doing. I started from there, Vineet, that it is a deep state plan toolkit which is in process. Who is supporting them today? Good Patwan Pannu. They got a letter from Good Patwan Pannu. Yes, you have spoken for me. This is what I wanted, to break the country, and there has been every attempt to break the country in every manner, whether it was north-south, whether it is castes, whether financially, and now to all the functions of that hold the democracy together. You're trying to hammer at each one just so that you can somehow come to power, at least, if not in the whole of India, at least break India down into parts and rule some fragment of it.
All right.
This is gone beyond acceptability to cast aspersions on the highest office of this country, that everybody says, okay, if it goes to Supreme Court, whatever the judgment, we abide by it and we believe in it. You are throwing stones there. Let's really go beyond that today.
All right. Unfortunately, we have completely run out of time, but appreciate everyone who joined us and spoke their minds about this important development.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.